too early to tell. I mean, as you heard in court, we're engaging in plea discussions. It may end up with a plea, it may not. We'll probably know more by the next court appearance.
I have
By
to
the
ask
next, by the next,
Well, the next court appearance is set for January,
Yes.
early January, that's the 7th, and we may or may not have a resolution by then. If not, we'll probably be moving towards a trial.
So basically, what happened today at the hearing?
Very little. We asked for some time to continue plea negotiations, and it'll take some time to determine whether it'll work out. We're hopeful, but, you know.
I have to ask, could you tell us what has been happening while Mr. Ovidio Guzmán and now Mr. Joaquín Guzmán are not in jail?
They're both in jail. I don't know if it was clear based on the
They're
orange
still under
jumpsuit
custody, but
and
no.
the manacles around his hands and his legs, but where I come from, that's usually considered prison.
Right now, yeah, but he was out of
They've never been out of jail.
No.
They've been out of the Bureau of Prisons
Right.
facilities,
Could
which
you
is
explain that, please?
what happens is the federal system, the Bureau of Prisons, has a number of jails. Oftentimes due to overcrowding or because of movements of prisoners, they go to other facilities that are still prisons, just not under the Bureau of Prisons umbrella. And if you look at the Bureau of Prisons inmate locator online and you put in Joaquín's name or Ovidio's name, I'm assuming it probably indicates that you know, if they're not here, if they don't show up, it just means they're not in Bureau of Prisons custody, but they're still in
For which reason? Could we know
because
that?
I have plenty of clients that are in other prisons because there's so many additional facilities that they keep federal prisoners in. They're just not always known as federal prisons. If you walk up to a federal prison, it'll say Federal Correctional Institute. But there are many, many prisons that the Federal Bureau of Prisons uses, but are just not federal institutions.
Mr. Lichtman,
Or like one of the, they usually send them to Kankakee or somewhere around.
He's in another prison, not too far away. I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, look, to be frank, I think that Ovidio was moved 2 days before Joaquín showed up in America. If we were trying any type of subterfuge, that wouldn't have happened. He would have remained in the MCC and no one would have questioned it. But the fact that he was moved 2 days before should give some indication that no one really cared, because at least on our side, we thought it was obvious that Ovidio wasn't being released. So clearly we were wrong.
So
in
you don't
terms
mean
of the
that you were
agreement, if there is no agreement on the 7th, it's by one, I mean, can be separated or they have to be
They're
together?
two totally different cases. Although I represent both brothers, it doesn't change the fact that they individually have their own cases. So this isn't a package deal in terms of one doing one and one doing the other. I'd like them to do the same thing, have the same result, but the government views them differently, in terms of their actions, their histories, their responsibilities. So,
But is there any window that the government will say, if you are representing both in the same hearing, we can have the agreement? Two of them, or it has to be separate?
I don't think the government will have any objection. This is not all that unusual that one lawyer represent two defendants in the case. I'm not saying it happens a lot. It doesn't, but I've had it numerous times over the years, and I expect that they may end up reaching similar resolutions, but they may not.
Because you can't,
And I-
sorry, can I jump in on that point? Because you can't represent a person who pleads and then represent the other defendant at trial. That would be a conflict.
I can,
You can't?
as long as one of them is not testifying against the other one.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, one person can take a plea and he gets sentenced and we never hear from him again, so to speak, and then the other one goes to trial. That
No
happens.
agreement cooperating against his brother.
Well, I
Then
mean,
you can-
there are all sorts of things. There's a myriad of possibilities in a situation like this, but at this point, right now, the government is not objecting. Sometimes they do. I've gotten tossed off of plenty of cases due to conflicts. The difference is this is a potential conflict and not an actual conflict. It may become an actual conflict. If it does, then you won't be seeing me here on both cases.
And the agreement has to be related to Mayo's case? Or not?
The Miles case in Brooklyn is a different case. He's got his own issues there, and it doesn't really.
No, but I mean, the agreement that they probably they are going to get it has to be linked or not? unnecessary.
No, I mean, I don't, any plea agreements that my two clients have are completely independent of anything that either happens to or is done by my own.
But there is a possibility that the prosecutors asked the Guzmán Lopez brothers to cooperate in the Mayo's case.
Listen, there's a possibility that I could wake up tomorrow morning and be 6'11" and be playing center for the Knicks. That's a possibility too. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing that would happen because the Knicks are good this year. But anything I suppose theoretically is possible. I just, it's hard to speculate at this stage.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.